Hello. I actually want to put on a funny filter. Hello, hello. Funny filter, here I come. How about that? Yes? My funny filter is not working.
Let me help you.
Okay. Oh, hello. There's people there. My son is going to help
Hello.
me.
I'm just helping her put on a funny filter. Which funny filter would you like, Mummy?
I don't mind. That one?
Okay, well.
Hi, Beatrice. Yeah, say hello. Let me know where you are. I can't get a funny filter on. Doesn't
So
matter,
weird.
darling. You know, it's jammed for whatever reason.
Oh, well.
That's okay. C'est la vie. I'll survive. Okay, hello, everybody. Hello, Jessica. I am hopping on here on Facebook Live because I just got a message from someone on Facebook that shocked me to my core. So I thought I'm going to come in and I'm going to talk about it. So what it is that it's about Mercury retrograde, and as you probably Raynette says hi, Louis. It's his birthday tomorrow. He's going to be 13. Oh, teenager. Anyway, so I have this book coming out in 6 days' time, which means you only have 6 more days to get the free bonuses. If you want the free bonuses, which are things such as a personalised Mercury retrograde chart for 2020, a lot of other stuff, mercuryretrogradebook.com, mercuryretrogradebook.com if you want the free bonuses. What I want to talk about here and now, though, is this message I just got on Facebook, and I'm not going to say who it's from because I didn't get her permission, but she did write it publicly, so I don't think it was meant to be a secret, but I'm just going to read it to you. I just talked about it on Instagram as well, actually. She's kind of famous. I hope she doesn't mind. Yes, Raynette, my son is going to be a teenager. Okay, so she says, got my pre-order. Thank you for getting the pre-order. So, and she says, I'm holding out for winning the personalised 2020 Mercury retrograde guide. Well, you deserve it after all this. In fact, I will do one for you because I have now talked about you twice on social media. But what she says here is, while I don't view Mercury retrograde as negative and do my best to utilise it in a spiritual context of renewing, resting, reviewing, reorganising, etc., so far so good, it never fails to truly hit hard. Now, this is why I wanted to come on to talk about this bit, where she says, last one was surprised with forced self-care via an emergency appendectomy, okay? Honestly, I could track its trajectory based on things like this, lol. Now, I just want to say, don't blame Mercury retrograde for your appendectomy. In fact, on page, I think 15 it was, I read it earlier. On page 15 of this book, it says, written by me and Kim Farnell, I definitely wrote this bit. Many people buy into the myth that all these things going wrong in my life, such as needing an appendectomy, are because Mercury is going backwards, okay? But almost certainly it's not Mercury's fault. So let me just say, Mercury retrograde is not bad luck. I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately, but I don't think people have the message yet. They're still blaming their appendectomies on Mercury retrograde. Now, for this lovely reader, almost certainly, like I would say 99.99999% recurring, her appendectomy would have shown up in her chart, but it would be nothing to do with Mercury retrograde. So here are some of the things that Mercury retrograde will do for a person. Okay, say for example, they will make you late, okay? They'll make you late for the airport or late for work, or you'll be... I had a really Mercury retrograde situation come up today because I was talking about Mercury retrograde, and somehow when you talk about Mercury retrograde, you kind of invoke it. And it was like cross purposes where mixed messages. It's the kind of thing where you might say, I'll see you next week, and you think it's on Tuesday night and your friend thinks it's on Wednesday night and it doesn't work out. Or the phone keeps ringing and you never manage to get to it. Or there's just general confusion. Or you feel like you're speaking a different language to other people because you just don't understand each other. Or you see your ex for the first time in a very long time. or there's confusion which reminds you of something from a while ago. You know, as I like to say, Mercury retrograde will not make you sick, for example. It will not give you an appendectomy. Mercury retrograde will not make you sick. It will make you late, but it won't make you sick. So if there's one message that I really want to get out, because we are now 2 days away from the start of the Mercury retrograde shadow period before Mercury starts to go retrograde in Scorpio, okay? And we're actually now 6 days away from the publication of my new book, which I'm extremely excited about, which means we are now 6 days away from you being able to get your free bonuses. Remember, mercuryretrogradebook.com. And I really want to, if nothing else in this period of talking about Mercury retrograde because of the book coming out, if nothing else, please understand there is nothing inherently bad luck about Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde will not make you sick, for example. It will make you late. Yes, it will make you late because you'll get your messages mixed up, or you'll think it's another time, or, you know, you'll just be such chaos, you'll be late. It's things like that. It's like losing your luggage. It's like, but it's also redoing things. So like Mercury retrograde could be rereading a book. Literally, you know, it can be going back to a place that you went before that was great that you want to go back to. It can be revamping your home, redecorating. It can be something positive, like, you know, you applied for a job, you didn't hear anything, and then all of a sudden you hear back. It's stuff like that 99.9% of the time, and it's never an appendectomy or anything like that. That's not Mercury retrograde. So please get it out of your head. And if you want to know more about Mercury retrograde, yes, I have to highly recommend my new book. It's got everything you want to know about Mercury retrograde, but you were afraid to ask. It will disabuse you of any false notions you have about what this planet is all about. It will tell you what it means when it's retrograde in all the signs, in all the parts of your chart, your love zone, your travel zone, your money zone. Mercury retrograde in your money zone can mean you finally get paid that money you've been owed for such a long time. It can be positive. So on that rather, I don't know, vigilante, Mercury retrograde vigilante note, is that all right to say that? I don't know. I will say thank you for tuning in. Actually, if you've got any questions, let me just quickly see if there's any questions here, if I can see any questions. Beatrice says, thank you, sounds wonderful. Sounds awesome. Renette loves my hair like that. Thank you. It's kind of, you know, when I need to go back and get it washed. You mentioned about second chances regarding Mercury retrograde. In a new job and not feeling it, does this mean a new job could be on the horizon? Lorraine asks. Okay, so that's a great question. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean a new job is on the horizon, okay, because you need to go out and get a new job. What it does mean is that it's a really good time to reassess where you are in your life. Like, doesn't matter what sign you are, Mercury retrograde is always a time to reassess, okay? And think about, you know, am I happy about where I am? And if not, now's a really good time to think back over how I got where I have got and what can I do to change my direction. And what we generally say with Mercury retrograde is it's not the time to make decisions, okay? It's the time to kind of go back over the facts, reconsider, rethink, revise, and then when Mercury changes directions and then starts to move forwards again, and then Mercury retrograde ends, by that stage you should have enough information to make some good decisions. Now, Lorraine, if you just started the new job and you're really not sure about it, Mercury retrograde actually might help you change your mind. You might actually go, oh, actually, I'm learning some stuff I didn't know, and it might help you change your mind, because Mercury retrograde can see you changing your mind. Another one, Louise Muirhead. Can you successfully work on a website or technology during the retrograde, or will it be troublesome? Well, look, they are two of the trouble spots, you know. Like, I'm a writer. I know that when Mercury's going backwards, there can be chaos. I had some chaos today. I was working on something with Hay House for this book, and all the links were going crazy, and then they were working and they weren't working, or they were working for me but they weren't working for Hay House and all that. And at one point I wrote to Rachel, who I was talking to about all this, and I said, you know what, Rachel, if you want to know what Mercury retrograde is, this is it. Because actually, even though the shadow period doesn't start for another 2 days, once you start talking about Mercury retrograde, you start to invoke it, okay? So yes, it can be a bit troublesome, but again, say like Louise has asked about a website. With a website, there is really no better time to kind of like redo your website than Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is about second chances, okay? So, you know, if you, for example, you might say, okay, Mercury goes retrograde up to 4 times a year. So 4 times a year, I'm going to really have a look at my website and revamp it a bit. In fact, revamp is one of the words on the cover of my new book. So, you know, there are so many good things about Mercury retrograde. Which house will Mercury retrograde affect this time? Asked Beatrice. So Mercury retrograde this time around is going to be in the sign of Scorpio. That is different for everybody depending on your sign or your rising sign. And I will direct you to a post on my website, yasminboland.com. You scroll down to the blog section, you'll see how will Mercury retrograde affect you. And I will say, it's a little bit more negative than it needs to be, that post, because it was actually taken from the Daily Mail feature that was in the Daily Mail, which was, an amazing feature, and I absolutely loved it. But they were kind of focusing on like the drama, which you do. But I've added in the upside as well. So, you know, have a look at both. There's the sort of the really negative stuff that you might encounter, and then there's the positive stuff that you can encounter, but it's going to be different for every single person, okay? So yasminboland.com and have a look at how will Mercury retrograde affect you. The post there, that'll tell you which house it's in for you, Beatrice, depending on your rising sign. Read your rising sign if you know it. So there are now 6 days until my book comes out, which means there are 6 days left to get your free bonuses, get your Mercury retrograde survival kit, get your free mini Mercury retrograde masterclass, so you can find out where Mercury is retrograde in your chart forever and ever, anytime, this one, the coming one, and you'll go into the draw for some great prizes. All those bonuses are going to disappear in 6 days. 6 days. So if you want to get them, now's the time. mercuryretrogradebook.com. And just before I go, Charlene from Canada, hello. Should I wait to apply for a mortgage? Now, here's another great question. So, one of my favorite Mercury retrograde stories is the time that I applied for my mortgage. I got it. It wasn't the one I wanted. It so happened Mercury was retrograde and I knew it. So I was like, doesn't matter. Mercury's retrograde. I can fix it up. And I got another mortgage, changed it all. No exit fee, no penalty, all within a couple of weeks. And so I used Mercury retrograde to my advantage. Now, should I wait to apply for my mortgage? I mean, I think there's actually a really good case to say no. Apply for your mortgage now while Mercury is retrograde. And it can work to your advantage. Maybe you renegotiate the mortgage next time Mercury is retrograde. Remember, with Mercury retrograde, it's redoing things. Very often it's redoing things. So you might think in a year's time, or 2 years' time, I want to renegotiate my mortgage. And if you do it when Mercury is retrograde, it's so much easier to renegotiate things, okay? It's, it's a good thing. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm just seeing if there's any other questions. Thanks for everyone who said hello, but I don't think there's any more questions per se. Someone's saying they're looking forward to getting the book. Thank you very much. And there we go. And Annette can't wait to get the book either. That's it. Thank you. There's the book, the Mercury retrograde book. It's got everything you ever wanted to know about Mercury retrograde but was scared to ask. It's got information about what happens when it hits your planets, your Mars, your Jupiter, your Sun, your Venus. It's got information about Mercury retrograde through the signs, through the houses. All in all, it really is a great little book, and I'm very, very happy with it. And again, if you want the free bonuses, if you're going to buy it, get the bonuses. Why not? Why not? They're free and they're pretty good. And that is all available at mercuryretrogradebook.com, only for 5 more days. All right, so I hope the number one thing that you get from this is don't fear Mercury retrograde. Learn how to make it work for you. That's what I really want you to do. Mwah.